I'm Kerry Bowers, and I approve this message.
When people ask me about how I view the federal government and its progress over my lifetime, I like to respond to that question with an analogy using an old steam locomotive, one speeding down a track toward a bridge that has been washed out, and unless stopped, the arrival of the train at that point will result in certain destruction. Included in that analogy are two human entities critical to the operation of the train: the engineer and the fireman. The engineer is the one controlling the throttle and thus the speed of the train, while the fireman is the one shoveling the coal into the boiler from the tender car to keep the steam engine operating. But in this case, always shoveling more than needed to efficiently keep the train operating as it should. Now, let's in our minds think of the locomotive as the nation, and the track upon which it sets as the direction the nation has been going, and for many decades. The bridge we will use to represent the consequence awaiting the nation on its present course. We will think too that instead of coal being used to keep the engine running, it is your money and the lost opportunities such would have provided to you and your family had it not been used to inefficiently fuel a nation on a destructive course. And lastly, to complete the picture in your mind, think of the fireman shoveling your money into the fire as your Congress, and the engineer controlling the throttle as the president. Over the years, and whether the Congress was Democrat or Republican controlled, your money was, and continues to be, shoveled into the fire and without regard to a standard of efficiency and effectiveness. Meanwhile, the engineer, that is the presidents, have been at the throttle, some advancing it and some pulling it back, consistent with their ideals of fiscal responsibility. But sadly, all failing to apply the brakes and take a switch that leads in a direction that will avoid the impending destruction of this nation. If I am the one you so blessed to become the engineer for our nation, I will apply the brakes and give proper guidance to the firemen for efficient and effective use of your resources, and then take the next switch to put this nation on a track that will avoid the destruction that otherwise awaits each of us.